Ticketmaster is in hot water for potentially violating consumer protection laws. Kiss are already back after their so-called farewell tour, and Jack Black and Dave Grohl team up for a song for the Minecraft movie soundtrack. We're going to break it all down on this edition of the Rock News Roundup Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rock News Roundup Podcast, your destination for the latest in music reviews and discussion here on the Nick Chino Music YouTube channel. I'm your host. My name is Nick Chino. We got the mics on, we got the devil horns up, and we're here to talk about the latest and greatest in the world of rock music news. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, would really appreciate it if you gave me a like and a share and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Or if you're listening to the audio-only edition of this podcast, you can also leave me a rating and review on your podcasting platform of choice. And you can also follow me on social media at Nick Chino Music. Also, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, there are a couple of new videos up there for you to check out. First of all, I just released a song, my first solo single as a solo artist. I've been in bands for the last 25 plus years, and this is my first time releasing my first solo single. It's called Not Usually. It's kind of like a chill acoustic track, very much in the vein of like acoustic Noel Gallagher, Oasis kind of stuff, or Jeff Buckley, or that kind of thing. So if you want to check it out, my new solo single, Not Usually, is up right now on the YouTube channel. And you can also check out a concert vlog that myself and my girlfriend Danielle did last weekend when we went to go see Stereophonics at Massey Hall in Toronto. We did a little concert vlog about our journey out to the show, and then our recap after the show, and obviously some of the footage of seeing Stereophonics live. They were awesome as expected. I've seen them live before, but it's been a few years, so really enjoyed seeing Stereophonics at Massey Hall in Toronto last weekend. And if you want to see the adventures with me and Danielle, you can check that out right now on the YouTube channel. But let's get to our headliner topics on this edition of the Rock News Roundup Podcast. And we're going to be talking about Ticketmaster potentially violating consumer protection laws, especially when it came to Oasis tickets that went on sale for the reunion tour last year. So we're going to talk about that. Kiss are already back. Just a couple of years after doing their so-called farewell tour. But we're going to kick things off with our first headliner topic, and that is Jack Black has teamed up with Dave Grohl for a new song on the Minecraft movie soundtrack. The Minecraft movie, or a Minecraft movie, hits theaters on April the 4th. And Jack Black is, of course, one of the stars of that movie, along with Jason Momoa and many others. And also, we know that Jack Black is a killer singer and musician with Tenacious D. So he's teamed up with his good friend Dave Grohl, of course, of Foo Fighters, Nirvana fame, for the movie soundtrack for a Minecraft movie with a new song called I Feel Alive. And it's actually a really cool song. I listened to it last night, and it's a kind of like a rock tribute kind of song, which is totally understandable for a guy like Jack Black and Dave Grohl on drums. It sounds like a mix of all sorts of different classic rock influences, but you can hear The Who in there, you can hear AC/DC in there, a lot of different rock influences on this song. It also has a super catchy chorus on this track as well, called I Feel Alive. And I can definitely hear this song playing over the credits of a Minecraft movie as people leave the theater. I feel like this would be the main credit song, although it could be featured throughout the movie. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Don't really know if I'm going to go see it in theaters myself, but it might be one of those movies that I watch when it comes out on streaming. But this is definitely one of those songs that you can hear playing over the credits of the movie as people are filing out of the theater. And it would definitely be. I love when a movie ends with an awesome song because it makes you feel actually even more energized after you've watched the 2.5 hour movie, and then a really kick-ass song like Live to Rise by Soundgarden, which plays over the credits of the Avengers after the Thanos reveal. Like, that's such a killer song for the end of that movie. So I feel like this song would have that's kind of similar impact for people who go see a Minecraft movie. And of course, Jack Black and Dave Grohl are good friends. They've been friends for a very long time. They've collaborated on many different things. Like, Dave Grohl has played drums on many Tenacious D tracks over the years, and he's given tribute when he actually appeared as the devil in the music video for one of the Tenacious D songs as well. So I feel like this is a match made in heaven. And really with all the rockisms, like there's a really cool Keith Moon-esque drum solo on here. Dave Grohl is the right guy to get if you want to have awesome drums on any track. He doesn't always have to be singing. He doesn't always have to be up front. I feel like he really relishes these opportunities to play drums on any song so he can let out that inner Dave Grohl beast. Like when he's reunited with the Nirvana guys over the last little while, you can tell that he just loves who's being behind the kit. And this song was actually produced by Andrew Wyatt, who has worked with Liam Gallagher and many other people, among others. He's a very, very famous and like go-to producer in the world of rock right now. And then also features Mark Ronson as a producer on this song, who's also a great producer in his own right. He's done a lot of really great things over the years. And like, I love a good soundtrack song. Like I feel like these days, not as many movies have awesome soundtracks featuring like songs by various bands. Obviously movies all have great scores that are done by composers that are epic. You know, when you go see an Avengers movie or something like that, it's really, really cool to have that big epic score. But then I love a really, really good soundtrack as well. And I feel like a lot of movies these days don't really go with the soundtrack. I don't think this Minecraft movie has like a full soundtrack featuring a multitude of artists. I think it is mostly just the score of the movie featuring this song with Jack Black and Dave Grohl, but I just miss a good soundtrack song. You know, I love thinking about some of my favorite soundtracks. You know, even Black Panther had a great soundtrack in 2018, The Avengers. And then if you're going back to like the 90s when a lot of my most favorite soundtracks came out, like the Dumb and Dumber soundtrack or the Empire Records soundtrack or something like that. So many great soundtracks that I've enjoyed over the years. And I wish that movies would do that more often. I feel like a lot of movies these days, they kind of skip out on doing an awesome soundtrack because maybe the audience isn't really there for a soundtrack featuring multiple artists, but I most definitely am. So I'm excited whenever there's a cool soundtrack song like this. The only thing is like, I feel like kind of left out because I've never played Minecraft. You know, I'm not a 12-year-old. I'm sure there's lots of adults out there who play Minecraft. Sorry to the adults who are watching this episode who also play Minecraft, but I've never played Minecraft, so I don't really have a connection to this as far as the actual movie goes. Like I don't think I'll see the movie in theaters, like I said, but I think I'll give it a watch when it comes out on whatever streaming service it's eventually going to come out on. And really, like Jack Black is the best. Like I love everything he's done as an actor, as a musician with Tenacious D, and he's really like he's a comedian, he's a musician, he does everything. Jack Black really is a jack of all trades, so to speak. So you know, hopefully, I know there was some controversy and some things with Tenacious D canceling their tours and kind of going on hiatus for a little bit, but I have no doubt that Jack Black and Kyle Gass are going to get back together and make some awesome Tenacious D music. Like this song, I Feel Alive, could be a Tenacious D song. It really does have the same vibe, that same epic rock vibe, but also the comedy of Tenacious D. But it's just a Jack Black song with Dave Grohl on drums. So I really think this is really cool. And like I said, Dave Grohl doing all sorts of cool stuff on here. He's doing some really awesome like Who-esque Keith Moon fills. He's really bringing the rock on this, and he is the right kind of drummer. If you're making a song that features multiple nods to different genres of rock and different musicians and different bands, Dave Grohl is the guy you want to get in on drums because he is also a big music fan. So he has that reference point to put together the drums for a song like this. So you know what? I really enjoyed it. The song's called I Feel Alive, Jack Black and Dave Grohl, an awesome collaboration. It's a cool song. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's a really, really cool song. And yeah, I'm sure people who are going to see a Minecraft movie on April 4th are going to enjoy seeing this one in the credits or throughout the movie, somewhere in there. I think it's going to be really, really cool. So I may not see the movie right away, but the song is really cool. It's called I Feel Alive, Dave Grohl, Jack Black. You can check that out online. If you have listened to the song or you love Dave Grohl and Jack Black, let me know in the comments what you think of the track, what you think of Minecraft or whatever. Let me know your comments in the comments section below. All right, so let's get to our next topic on this edition of the Rock News Roundup Podcast, and that is, why don't bands break up like they used to? You know, like especially Kiss, who I guess don't know the meaning of a farewell tour because they played their farewell tour, their final run of shows in 2023, and they are already making a live appearance at an upcoming Kiss Army event that is going to be happening in Las Vegas this November. Now, I guess there is somewhat of a catch with this because they did make their farewell tour, but they're saying that this show they're going to be unmasked, which is I guess how they're getting around doing this whole farewell tour thing. I'm going to keep putting that in quotations throughout the duration of this podcast, farewell tour, because you know they said that was going to be their last shows, but then again there's a caveat to that because I guess they only said those would be their last in makeup shows, so they somehow found a loophole to not make the farewell tour a farewell tour, because farewell tour, I guess for Kiss is just a smokescreen, because these guys, okay, Kiss, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, and the other guys that they have in the band, they will never stop being in Kiss, okay? They're going to be in wheelchairs and they're still going to be playing Kiss shows, whether that's in makeup or without makeup. And I'm thinking, like, nor should they be giving up their time in Kiss, because obviously that is made up the majority of their lives and their careers. But, you know, like, people, they got to stop telling people that they're going to be breaking up when they're not breaking up, okay? Because if you're not going to break up, you need to stop leading people on. Like, I was just thinking, because bands don't break up like they used to. You remember back in the 70s and the 80s and 90s when bands would break up and they would go out in a blaze of glory? Because I'm thinking about that Simpsons skit when the Simpsons scene when they go to the Spinal Tap concert and Bart, he has that dream of being drunk, and Milhouse is like, "You've changed, man. You used to be about the music." That is how I picture bands breaking up, or at least how I picture bands should break up. But then these days with bands, there's these things, it's not just a breakup, right? They're not just like, okay, we're done, we're out of here. No, you got to cash in on it on your way out the door, right? Bands don't just break up. They put together prolonged tours. Looking at you, Kiss, on this one again. They have to put together merchandise sales. They have to record a final album. It's all part of a bigger business plan, right? Bands used to break up because they hated each other. Now bands break up because it's a sound business decision. And I'm going to call out a Canadian band, Tokyo Police Club, who's a popular band here in Canada. They're from Toronto, been around for better part of like almost 2 decades. Great band. I love Tokyo Police Club, but they announced their farewell tour last year, and it just felt almost felt a little bit disingenuous to me, because I get it. They want to put together a final tour, but they want to somehow say goodbye to the fans. They want to give the fans a chance to see them live one last time before they break up. But then it just felt kind of hollow to me, because they were doing not just a farewell tour. They were like, "Oh, here's your final chance to get 25% off on merch. Here's your final chance to see us here. Here's your final chance to see us doing this." And it was just like, just break up, guys. I get it. Maybe you don't hate each other. Maybe it's more of an amicable business decision not to be in a band anymore. But like, it just feels like you're just really cashing in on your fans one last time before you break up. And then inevitably in like 2 to 3 years time, when you've decided that, hey, we like being this band again, you're going to get back together. And then it's the reunion tour. Like, at least Oasis, when they broke up, that went out in a blaze of glory. Liam and Noel hated each other. Noel walked out. They didn't play that final show in Paris. And then they broke up for 15 years. It took them 15 years to get back together before we had the Oasis reunion. So I just feel like Oasis did it right when it came to breaking up. And then back to the topic of Kiss. Like, I understand from their perspective, like, this is what they do, right? Even though it's a farewell tour, they want to keep making music. I understand that. Even if they're an older band, they're older guys, that is their identity. That is who they are. Like, I've been getting older, and I used to think when I was younger, when I was first starting my first band, when I was like 15, I remember saying to myself and saying to my bandmates, like, I don't want to be making an album past the age of, or being in a band past the age of 30, because that means you're washed up and that you shouldn't be in a band anymore. Well, that's obviously changed, because I'm well beyond the age of 30 now, and I still love making music. I still love writing songs. I still love playing in bands, and I still love rock and roll. That's why I do this YouTube channel. That's why I'm doing this podcast right now. So if somebody would say, hey, you got to hang it up, you're past the age of 30. Well, I would think that's ridiculous. And I think that's the same for Kiss, even though those guys are north of 70 now. Like, they want to keep doing it. And like, I get it. They're getting older, but nobody says, nobody says they have to stop, but they don't also have to keep leading fans on and keep giving them false hope by continuing on. I feel like that is also disingenuous of Kiss, especially for the people who went to their farewell tour and thought, okay, well, this is it. This is going to be our last chance to see Kiss. Fans paid good money to see the farewell tour. And now I feel like it really cheapens the whole thing, because the band is still playing makeup or not. So, like, I get it. There's, Kiss is kind of 2 separate entities. There's the in makeup version of Kiss, and there's the lick it up, no makeup version of Kiss. I much prefer the makeup version of Kiss. But I feel like, you know what? I get that they still want to play, but a farewell tour should mean something. And I feel like it cheapens that experience for the fans. Again, makeup or not, for the fans that went to go see that farewell tour and paid their hard-earned money. Look at Black Sabbath. They did a farewell show back in 2017, and now they're doing another farewell show this year because, well, the last one wasn't with Bill Ward, and this is the final one with Bill Ward on drums, and Ozzy Osbourne obviously has some declining health. I get it, but it just doesn't feel right when you tell fans and you market things as being like, this is is going to be it. And then you come back a couple of years later and you said, no, this is really going to be it. And then, Gene Simmons was a topic on my last episode of the podcast. I was telling a story about how he was selling $12,000 packages for fans to be roadies at his shows. And then I look online the other day and he just canceled a whole swath of tour dates as part of that. And I just feel like when you cancel shows, when you say this is going to be the farewell thing, like I just feel like you're playing with bands' emotions and their fans' emotions and their wallets as well. It's not just a thing where you're playing with fans' feelings. You're playing with the hard-earned money that these fans pay out. And we all know that in 2025, concert tickets, and we'll be talking about this in just a couple of minutes with Ticketmaster, like concert tickets are so expensive these days. And it's so much money to go see a band in concert, especially if it was members of KISS, that it just feels like you really should be a little bit more upfront with fans about your intentions if you're going to be breaking up a band. And KISS, I feel like it's always been a money making venture, but now it feels like they're just taking advantage of fans. I get it. KISS is a commercial band. They're in it to make money. Those guys want to continue making money off the brand that they've built with KISS over the last 40 years. But it just feels like you're just taking advantage of fans now. And I know this is for a fan event, and I'm sure a lot of fans at the KISS Army event are going to be really happy that KISS are going to be there to play some songs, whether it be, masked or unmasked. This will be unmasked. I'm sure they'll be playing lots of Lick It Up like 10 million times. But for the other fans that paid for their farewell tour who are not going to be at the KISS Army event in Las Vegas this November, I'm a little bit disappointed for them. I'm a little angry for them because I feel like Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and the KISS brand are really taking advantage of fans in certain ways. But that's just how I feel. Like I really feel like a farewell tour, again in quotations, a farewell tour should mean something. That should be it. If you're going to say you're going to be gone, just be gone and never come back, right? I'm sure some people disagree, but you can let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this? Do you think that KISS is right to come back and have no makeup for a KISS Army fan event? Or do you think that they should have stuck to their guns and the farewell tour should have really been a farewell tour? You can let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And let's get to our final topic on this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast, and that is this. Ticketmaster might have violated consumer protection laws. You might remember the debacle that was getting Oasis Reunion Live 25 reunion tickets back in August and September of last year. It was a frustrating experience for a lot of people, to say the least, including myself. Lots of people very upset about the way that all went down, that Oasis ticket on sale, dynamic pricing from Ticketmaster, misinformation. Many fans made consumer complaints at that time, especially in the UK, because over here in North America, still kind of bullshit when it came to buying Oasis tickets. But I know the UK fans and fans in Europe had a much harder time picking up those Oasis reunion tickets. And there was just a lot of things that went wrong with that whole experience. And so fans rightfully had a lot of complaints about that whole thing. And then so Consumer Market Authority in the UK, they launched an investigation into the whole ticket thing. There was the Oasis reunion on sale that caused this whole thing to go down. And they found in their investigation, they just came out with the results, that Ticketmaster might have violated consumer protection laws, which are very serious, especially in the UK. They're serious everywhere, but these watchdog kind of groups, they really do take this kind of thing seriously. And that Ticketmaster might have lied about certain types of tickets. They said they were selling platinum tickets that weren't really platinum because they didn't include any additional perks on top of having just a seat at the concert. Obviously, dynamic pricing has been a very, very controversial issue with ticket buying, especially with the Oasis ticket sale. And they were basically surprising fans with high ticket fees after waiting in these queues, right? This whole Ticketmaster thing now is like you get into the queue, you get a code for a pre-sale or whatever, but you don't really know the price of the tickets until you're through the queue and you're ready to buy tickets. And then you know what? The countdown is on, right? Because you want to get tickets, but you don't want to miss out on tickets. And so you might see a high price. I know that's what happened to me. And you've been dying to get these Oasis tickets and you're not going to back out now. You want to have your tickets, and then you pay a lot of money to get them, and then you feel a little bit dirty after the fact. I know I did. And so this watchdog group, the Consumer Markets Authority, is advising Ticketmaster that they have to communicate better with their buyers that are going to be buying tickets, specifically about this Oasis incident. That's a hard thing to say, Oasis incident. So it's really no surprise that Ticketmaster was deceptive, because this is Ticketmaster we're talking about. Pearl Jam have been ringing that bell for the last 30 years, and the Oasis on sale, the ticket sale, was a disaster on all sides. Even if you got tickets, and I know a lot of people did, a lot of people didn't, but even if you got tickets, you probably didn't feel good about the whole process of buying the tickets. And nobody knew the ticket prices. Like I said, nobody knew the ticket prices ahead of time. Even on the North American sale, once you were through the queue, you had to make a choice. Like for me, I knew that I had a limit that I was willing to spend. I put some money on my credit card and I said, this is it. This is all the money that I have to throw at this thing. If it's above that, I might not be able to get tickets. Like thankfully, the tickets that I got, they were within my limit, but I didn't really have a choice. It's taking place at Toronto Stadium, a stadium that they're still building in Toronto, by the way. And there's general admission and there's seats, and I didn't really have much time to be combing through seats, looking at prices and that kind of thing. So I just went, you know what, general admission, just buy the tickets and get out of there, because the whole situation was really stressful for me. I was like, my palms were sweating. I had a very, very, very nervous time and anxious time buying Oasis tickets. Like I said, I had a limit. If the tickets were outside of that limit, I might have been SOL on getting Oasis tickets. So thankfully they fell within the limit, although that limit was more than I've ever spent on concert tickets in my entire life. But just in general, like you think about it, Ticketmaster gets away with way too much. Like this investigation, yeah, they found some things, but really it amounts to nothing more than a slap on the wrist for Ticketmaster, if that. Like there was not going to really be any consequences coming from this investigation. I think Ticketmaster's response to this investigation was like, all right, noted, thanks for that. But I don't think they're legally obligated to change anything about the ticket buying experience. And to me, like, I am excited about the Oasis reunion. I'm very excited to go to the show in Toronto in August, but it feels like it tainted the Oasis reunion a little bit for fans who got tickets, fans who didn't get tickets. It should have been easier for fans to get tickets to the reunion shows at a reasonable price. And then I think today Oasis actually announced it's 100 days until their first reunion show at Cardiff in Wales. And then, I'm still excited, but it should have been easier for fans to get tickets for this tour. It shouldn't be that hard for people to get tickets to see their favorite bands at a reasonable price, right? We want to be able to go see Oasis. I used to go see them all the time. I've seen Oasis 6 times, and I don't remember spending more than, maybe $100 or $150 to go see Oasis back in their prime, right? This was back in the 2000s when they were maybe not at the height of their popularity, but they were still Oasis and they were still playing live in Toronto. And I never had to pay that much money to go see them. But then fast forward to 2025, where everything's a nightmare, then obviously it was just like totally just getting raked over the coals to get Oasis tickets. And, Oasis say, that as a band, they didn't have any knowledge of dynamic pricing. I don't really believe that. They're blaming it on the management. They're blaming it on Ticketmaster. But I feel like the band is somewhat aware, or their management, who are very close to the band, are somewhat aware of all the kind of the backhandedness and all the shenanigans and shadiness that are happening with buying tickets. So I don't know. Like, I don't feel like maybe the Gallaghers themselves, like I feel like Noel and Liam are very hands-off with that whole thing. They just want to go on stage. They just want to play their songs. I feel like maybe they didn't know personally, but their management most definitely did. And like to say, oh, well, our management knew about it, but we didn't. It's like, your management is your management. I'm sure the Gallaghers are in constant contact with their management and with their agents and with the people that are doing this tour. And I feel like the management knew fully well what they were doing in this whole situation. So yeah, I'm excited to go see Oasis still. Very excited about it, but obviously there was some shenanigans happening with Ticketmaster and the purchasing of everything for this Oasis tour. And it's good that they have these investigations, that there are bodies, people out there, organizations that are willing to do an investigation and try to find these types of situations where fans and consumers aren't being treated fairly. But then if there's not any legal ramifications or consequences, maybe there are. If you know if there are any, you can let me know in the comments. But if there aren't any legal ramifications or consequences, then really, like, what does it matter? Because Ticketmaster doesn't have to enforce any of the findings from this investigation. They don't have to change a single thing about the way that they sell tickets for events and concerts around the world. And so really, at the end of the day, it's a little bit of a shoulder shrug. Ticketmaster might have violated consumer protection laws. This investigation found like they did. There was definitely some shady things going on. But at the end of the day, nothing's going to change. Like I said, Pearl Jam have been ringing that bell since the 90s about Ticketmaster and the way that they do things. And it's been 30 years on and nothing's really changed. Ticketmaster is still the biggest name of the game when it comes to buying event tickets and concert tickets. And then they own the other companies that sell tickets, and now you're getting into resales and, scalpers and everything like that. And we're just selling tickets for absorbent amounts of money. And it's just really disappointing because I'm starting to go see concerts less. I love going to concerts, but I can't afford to go to these concerts. I don't like going through the anxiety of trying to buy concert tickets, especially for these big ticket events, whether it be Oasis or somebody else. Like, it just gives me such anxiety to go through these kinds of situations. So it's just I love concerts, but it's getting harder and harder to go see concerts. I only bought tickets to 2 concerts this year, Oasis and Stereophonics, which I saw last week. I might still buy some concert tickets for the rest of the year, but it really depends on how much it is. Maybe go see some more local shows here in Hamilton as opposed to going to these big shows in Toronto. Like maybe these big shows aren't my thing. If it's not Oasis or some other bands that I really, really love, I don't really think it's worth it to try and go through that whole thing. So Ticketmaster is going to be Ticketmaster no matter what. People who got Oasis tickets got them. People who didn't might be paying a lot of money to get them on the secondary market. Even if there are official resales, the resale market's a whole other, bag of cats in there. So it's like, what are you going to do? So it's really disappointing that Ticketmaster probably won't change a thing as a result of this investigation in the UK. But at least we know that we are not, they're not pulling the wool over our eyes. We know perfectly well what is going on with these kinds of events. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes these days. And that's kind of disappointing. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this whole situation about this Oasis tour and the tickets. Are you disappointed with the whole way this whole thing went down? Or are you okay with it? Is that just the nature of the beast and you're going to pay whatever it takes to go see Oasis? Let me know in the comments below. But we're going to wrap up the show in just a couple of minutes. But first, I want to get to my tracks of the week, a few tracks that I thought I would let everybody know about that I've been digging this week, some new ones, some old ones. So I got 3 tracks of the week for this episode of the Rock News Roundup podcast. And the first one, my first track of the week is courtesy of a band called Slowly. It's a song called Forgiving Spree, which is the title track from their new album, which just came out, I think about a month or 2 ago. So this is a band from Australia. I'd never heard of them before. They popped up in my Spotify recommendations, and I really, really liked it. There's actually their previous album, Daisy Chain, really, really cool as well. It's very upbeat, pop rock, has a dancey feel to it. Not really heavy at all, but really, really cool and very, very catchy. Forgiving Spree, the title track from the new record, is really cool. Daisy Chain, the title track from the last record, also very, very cool. And I always love discovering new bands. Slowly was not a band that was on my radar, and I think that is, for all of its faults and all of its, kind of things I don't like about it. Spotify is good for that. It's very good for music discovery, and that's what I really do enjoy about listening to Spotify, or else I wouldn't have maybe discovered Slowly. So Forgiving Spree by Slowly is one of my tracks of the week. One of my other tracks of the week is courtesy of Dinosaur Pileup, one of my favorite UK hard rock bands. Love these guys. One of my favorite bands going right now. They've been on hiatus since their last album, Celebrity Mansions, because their singer and guitarist Matt Bigland was experiencing some serious health issues over the last couple of years. He was in and out of the hospital, so he was going through a lot in his life, and he had to get back on his feet before he could make a new record with the band. But Dinosaur Pileup, they're back. They're kicking ass. This song called About to Lose It is really awesome. It's a perfect mix of heavy guitars, and it's got Weezer-esque melodies. That's really the cool thing about Dinosaur Pileup. Like I hear influences like Foo Fighters and Weezer, but also a lot of metal and hard rock, and they just marry those things so well. This song, About to Lose It, is very, very cool. Like I said, their last album, Celebrity Mansions, was one of my favorite records of 2019. One of my favorite records of the last 10 years, I think. That is like a front to back classic album. And the albums before that too, 1111 and Nature Nurture, great albums as well. I'm hoping that Dinosaur Pileup have some more songs up their sleeve, that they have a new album in the works, and I think they do. So really, really looking forward to that if they have a new album coming out in 2025. But for now, we have this new song, About to Lose It by Dinosaur Pileup, I think it's one of the best songs of the year so far. Definitely check it out if you haven't checked out Dinosaur Pileup. So that is also one of my tracks of the week. And my last track of the week is courtesy of Stereophonics because I just saw them on the weekend. It was really, really good. Like I love Stereophonics, and they played so many hits at the show in Toronto. Really such a great set list. And really to me, this song, Maybe Tomorrow, is one of their best hits from You Gotta Go There to Come Back, their fourth record in 2003, I think it came out. Actually, I got to show you something. Let me go over here. Aha. From this album, You Gotta Go There to Come Back, which I have signed by the Stereophonics. I got this signed 20 years ago. I got this album signed 20 years ago in 2005 when they played at the Phoenix in Toronto on the Language, Sex, Violence Other tour. Stereophonics was, they were doing an interview at The Edge, which had a downtown studio on Yonge Street at the time. And I went to go see them there. There wasn't really anybody hanging out at the studio. And I went there, and Kelly Jones and Richard Jones and their drummer at the time, Javier Whaler, signed my You Gotta Go There to Come Back record. And that one of my awesome memory of meeting those guys and getting them to sign this. And again, this is my favorite Stereophonics record, featuring Maybe Tomorrow, which is, it was a big hit in the UK, but also a hit here. Everybody was singing along with Maybe Tomorrow at the show at the Phoenix. It's soulful. It's melodic. It had the whole crowd going when I saw them in Toronto. So, at Massey Hall on Saturday. So, you know what? It was super enjoyable. Kelly Jones, obviously an incredibly awesome singer. I love singing this one too. Actually, was jamming with the guys in my band the other day, and we ended up playing this one because it's a good 4-quarter. I think it's E flat, C minor, G minor, and F major. If you want to play Maybe Tomorrow. So that's one of my tracks of the week. Again, did a concert vlog with my better half, Danielle. We did a concert vlog on the weekend. That's up on the channel right now if you want to check it out. That was a lot of fun. I love doing a good concert vlog, and Danielle, she's awesome in those vlogs. So if you haven't seen that, we had a lot of fun, and you can check out that video right now on the YouTube channel as we speak. But that's going to be it for this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Again, if you want to talk about any of the topics that I was talking about in this edition of the show, hop into the comments section below. Let me know your thoughts on the topics that I was talking about on this edition of the show. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like and share and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos. If you're listening to the audio-only version of the podcast, you can also rate and review it wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. Give me a rating review. I would really appreciate that. And you can also, again, follow me on social media. Why am I doing that? At Nick Chino Music. And I'll see you guys again for another edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast. This weekend on the channel, going to be reviewing the new album from The Darkness called Dreams on Toast. I'm really going to look forward to reviewing that one. So that'll be on the channel this weekend. But yeah, that's it for this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast. I will see you guys soon for another episode. But until then, rock on, everybody.